Let's fucking go. We actually have an action now in high level that'll look at your leads or your clients' conversations and figure out if that lead closed so you can report accurate ROI and you don't have to take their word for it. And yeah, it solves a shit ton of problems. So it's fucking sick. I can't wait to show you this. This is how it works. Basically, you would have something like message or you would have reply. So customer replied, and this would start the workflow. Okay, so whenever someone replies to a message, whenever a message comes in, then this workflow will start and it'll go into this first step here, determine if lead closed. And you would set a wait duration value. So you could do like, a day or I don't know, something like 12 hours. For now, we're just going to do 0 hours just so we can test it out. And then we would put in a little bit of context. So I'm just going to say this is a wrap shop and a conversion, this is what a conversion would look like, okay? And so we'll just save that. And now, whenever this action runs, it's going to start this and it's going to wait that amount of time before it evaluates the lead. So it'll pull out all the conversation history, it'll use AI to analyze it, and then it'll give you a result of whether or not that lead closed. And it's fucking accurate. It's cool as shit. So, and if you're wondering, this doesn't actually pause. What the hell? This doesn't actually pause the workflow because if it paused it, it wouldn't be able to re-enter. So that contact would reply, it would wait 8 hours, and then it would start the evaluation regardless of whether or not there's been more messages. What we want to do is we want to wait until like 8 hours after the last message. So anyways, that's enough blabbering. What I'm going to do is test this out for you so you can see how it works. And what we'll do is... Okay, so I'm adding this lead to this, and what that's going to do is it's going to trigger this, and then, like I said, it would wait 8 hours or something, but it's just going to run instantly, and then we're going to show that information in the notes. So we'll show whether or not we think the lead closed, true or false. We'll show the confidence out of 1, and then we'll also give a summary explaining why we came to that decision. And so let me show you what the results look like. Okay, and we can see right here that it decided that the lead did close. It has a 100% confidence rating. This is out of 7 tries where we're trying to figure it out and take the average. And then it has an explanation of why it made that decision. And, I mean, look, it doesn't take a rocket surgeon to figure out that this person actually converted because the client sent the payment link and they said, yeah, I got it done. But that means you didn't have to do it, and now we can start marking these people as 1 so we can not reactivate him in the future with the same generic message we send to all the other leads. We can report accurate conversions to this client. There's so much stuff that we can now do because previously, this client doesn't fucking mark his leads as 1. You think he's doing that? I've explained it to him like 100 times. He never does it, okay? And so now I don't have to fucking force him to do it. It'll just do it automatically. And let me just show you how this works because I think it's fucking badass. So, this is our task right here that's doing this. So I'm going to load this up, and what we'll see is that we're passing in, okay, so here's how it works. So the first thing we're doing is pulling out all of the conversation history, and this is not really trivial. If you didn't know it, high level has contacts, and then under contacts they have conversations, and then under conversations they have messages. So it's not just contacts and messages. There's conversations in the middle for some fucking reason. And then there's all this other shit that you have to do. But what we end up doing is we end up with a list like this where we have ID, body, blah, blah, blah. And it looks just like this. And this gives an accurate overview of the conversation. And what we actually pass to ChatGPT is something like this, where it has the type of the message. We're saying inbound, call duration, status completed. And then if there's a transcript, then we're also feeding that in, and it kind of keeps going, but it's cut off in this example. But yeah, it shows all of the entire conversation to give it perfect context. So we pull out the fucking entire conversation, and then what we do is we feed that all into ChatGPT, and we're actually running the analysis 7 times. So you can see each time that we're running it, we're trying to figure out, did they convert, yes or no? And then we're getting a reasoning from that. And eventually, we're also taking a conclusion to figure out that looks at all of the prior analysis to give an overall analysis for why that was true. And then we count the total amount of votes. So it was 7 out of 7 votes voted for yes. And then we were able to determine that, and it was true. And it was 100% likelihood that that person actually concluded or actually converted. So I mean, that's basically it. I'm going to leave a link below where you can learn more about this and give it a shot if you want. It's completely free if you just want to try it out. And I'll just show you another example here because I just think this is the coolest fucking thing ever. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I just put this in my own sub account, and I'm going to be talking, or I put some additional context basically saying that I have a software and I'm talking with leads about it. And so I'm going to test this. I have a specific person that I just talked to that makes a pretty good example of whether or not this is going to work. So let's just go back here. And this is a lead, Rohan, who I talked to the other day, and he wanted an app that would help him kind of, it would, basically it's a trigger whenever an outbound message is sent, and he wasn't able to install it because of some dumb problem with GoHighLevel, and so I fixed that recently, but I haven't been able to get in touch, and so hopefully the AI will be able to pick up on that. And as you can see down here, we actually have the call transcript native to GoHighLevel, and I actually built that in to the system so that if that call transcript is available, it'll also pull that and use that for the conversational context. So let's do our workflow here. So determine lead status, and let's click add. And we should see it show up in the notes in a second here. And let's just go watch this run while it's happening. Dude, I get like so, annoyed because it takes so long while it's deployed. Okay, we're running. So what we'll see is that it's pulling out the conversation history, and we're feeding in the contact ID and the location ID that we want to get the history for. So that's running. Okay, so we can see we've got some conversation context here. We've got a lot of conversation history, or this is the conversation, so we have one conversation, and then we'll see the conversation body, so we'll see all of the messages, or most of the messages. They tend to get truncated in this little preview here. And we have our result. So what's our result here? So we got converted false, determinable 1. Basically, or let's just go back to this so we can see it in the notes. But I think it basically said 100% chance, no, this person did not convert. Boom, there we go. And so what you could do with this is you could now, if I come back into my workflow here, we could do, instead of like just saving it to the notes, which I mean probably isn't that helpful, what we could do is we can go converted, and then we'll do yes, and we'll pull from that trigger, and we'll go lead closed true, and no is the other branch. So then, if we know that the lead closed, then what we'll do is we'll just update the opportunity to mark him as 1, right? And so now we can show this in our reporting. We can say, hey, yes, this lead closed, and here was the source that they came from, blah, 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 right? Okay, so I had a really long conversation with this guy, Tommy, and I just want to see how it works, because if it thinks that he's actually converted. So let's go lead status evaluation, and let's add him. By the way, there's going to be a snapshot for this workflow below, so you don't have to build it yourself. So let's see how this goes, and let's just watch it happen in real time again, because it's just so fucking sick, dude. All right, so lead status executing, pulling that conversation history here, and we're fetching call transcripts. We got his name. Wow, that's a long conversation. So 4,600 tokens. We have to truncate the first few thousand tokens if it's over 15,000. So we're definitely in our healthy context window here. And now we're running each analysis. So converted, false. What's our final consensus? False. Determinable true, but it's very close. And so our overall score, our confidence rating, is only 0.57. So another thing we could do is, if we come back to this, we could go lead status evaluation, and we can basically choose, we go to this trigger, and we'll choose confidence score, and we'll go greater than 0.8, because we want to really make sure that this person closed, or that we actually determined a correct solution. And so we'll just 0.8 here to make sure that we're accurately assessing this stuff. So yeah, that's one thing to think about. But if it's under like I think 0.5, then it'll just go as undeterminable. So, anyways, that's the whole thing. Hopefully this is as cool for you as it is for me. But yeah, I think this is gonna be really fucking helpful for a lot of agencies and people. So yeah, would love to hear your thoughts.